Out there picking basil for dinner tonight. But she's as big as she is. I didn't realize how big it was. Here she comes. Of course, she's got to stop along the way. So for this recipe, we're going to need some chicken breasts. I've got 3 here that I'm going to cut long ways down the middle, so that way I can make them stretch a little bit. My kids will not eat a whole chicken breast, so this way it'll make it go further and they'll be sure to eat it all. So chicken, I've got a small onion, a pretty good sized clove of garlic, some butter. You can do this over like roasted potatoes if you like, but I'm going to use pasta, and this is what I'm going to use today. I like the little holes in it. It helps absorb all the sauce. I've got salt and pepper, fresh basil that I had Bug go get from the garden. You can use dried if you like. You'll probably just need to use about half as much. Olive oil, some white wine, and some half and half or heavy cream. I don't have heavy cream, so I'm using half and half. And then I'm going to serve it with Texas toast on the side. So let's get started. So I found some mushrooms in the fridge that I need to use, so I'm going to cut these up into slices and cook these as well. I've got some butter and some olive oil I'm putting in a pan. I'm going to let that melt together, and I'm going to just season the chicken with salt and pepper and brown it on both sides. I've got a pot of salted water that's coming to a boil. This here is just a rack. I put in a cookie sheet after I lined it. When the chicken is done browning, I'm going to put it on the tray and put it in the oven at 300 degrees, just to make sure that the chicken's done all the way through. I hate to not cook it all the way. So once this comes up, I'm going to brown the chicken. When that's ready, I'm going to dump in the pasta. And as I'm browning the chicken, I said I went ahead and got my garlic I got it smashed and chopped real fine. I'm going to dice my onion and then slice my mushrooms. Just wanted to show you guys real quick. See, I can just sliced them in half, where they're still a pretty good amount of meat, but they're just not so big. And this is ready to go. And I wanted to, real quick, I said just salt and pepper. Super simple. Don't chop your basil yet, because if you do fresh basil too soon, it'll turn black, kind of like when you bruise it. So don't do it until the last minute. Otherwise, it'll turn black before you even get it in the pan. Alright, here's the last of my chicken. And it is not done by any means. It's just browned. I'm going to put these in a 300-degree oven and let these cook probably until I'm done with dinner. It won't take very long just to finish throwing this together. So let me throw this in the oven. And that is ready. So I'm going to dump in my pasta. And this still has juice and a little bit of olive oil and butter left. So I'm going to first add my onions because they need to soften. Just going to add those in. Okay. And there's still some salt and pepper from the chicken, from the residual, so. And I haven't turned the heat up or down. It's on in between 4 and 5, so it is right in the dead center of medium. I want this to soften just a little. So I'm going to cook these for just another second or two, and then I'm going to add my garlic and just stir it around and immediately add my mushrooms. And I'm going to cook until these are just have tenderized just a little bit. Alright, if you run into a problem like I have, and my mushrooms are getting a little dry in the pan, I'm going to add a good tablespoon of butter and a little bit of olive oil, and that'll give it a little bit of juice so the mushrooms and the onions and everything don't burn. But I said just cook these until they're tender. So these are almost done. smells absolutely delicious in here. Alright, my mushrooms have cooked to where they are as tender as I would like them. If you want them more tender, cook them longer. If you want them a little more firm, you know, cook them shorter. But I'm going to take half a cup. I had a little more in the pan, in my jar. So it's a little over half a cup of white wine. I'm going to put it in. And I'm going to stir this around. And I'm going to let this cook for about 5 minutes or so. I want you to be able to taste the white wine, but I don't want it to be like a super sharp wine flavor. And if you don't want to use wine, go ahead and just use some chicken stock. Or you can use water, vegetable stock, doesn't matter. But I'm going to let this come to a bubble. I said I haven't touched the heat. I've left the heat the same. And I'm just going to let this cook so it's not so sharp of a wine flavor. Don't forget to stir your pasta. These will be ready here in just a minute. It's coming together. Alright, I'll let the wine cook down just a little bit. I think this is going to be good for me. I'm going to go ahead and add 1 cup of half and half. I said if you have heavy cream, use it. Or even milk. I just have half and half, and that's what I'm going to use. And if you have dried basil, go ahead and add it. I would suggest maybe a tablespoon of dried basil, maybe even 2 teaspoons. So I'm going to let this come together and thicken just a little bit. Just heat the cream and start to thicken it some. And then I will add the basil. I'm just going to let this cook for just a few minutes. And go ahead and taste it and season it with salt and pepper. So letting it cook, my sauce has thickened up pretty good. I don't want it too thick because I want to coat all the noodles. So if you want it a little bit thicker, go ahead and add a little bit of cornstarch slurry to thicken it up. But this is good for me. My noodles are done, and I'm going to get a big serving bowl and serve it family style on the table. And now go ahead and chop up your basil real fine, just into ribbons, and throw it in, and make sure you season it, salt and pepper, and taste it. And this is exactly how I'm going to serve it. I just took the chicken and put them all on top. That way everybody gets a piece of chicken, and dig in underneath and get a big bowl of yummy pasta. You can see all the basil, all the ribbons of basil through it. It's going to be delicious. If you want, I didn't even think about it. I think that's what I'm going to do. Put a big sprinkle of Parmesan cheese over the top. And I've got garlic bread in the oven. And it's time to eat. Hope you enjoy.